Coach. Eric Mangini. Coach, I was gone for like the last 27 times you were here, and I actually
I'm starting to take it personally.
As well you should. I missed you. I genuinely missed you and your witty takes.
Wow, not a lot of people say that, so I really appreciate it.
Great to have you back.
It is good to have you. All right, for the New England Patriots, if the pain of the Super Bowl loss is finally starting to die down, rumors of Rob Gronkowski retiring are not. The league's best tight end is reportedly considering quitting football to pursue a career in, I think the word says wrestling, or perhaps out in Hollywood. According to a report, Gronk almost retired last season during training camp. All right, let's talk of this in football speak. How badly, Coach, do Tom Brady and the Patriots actually need Gronk back next season?
The impact that he has is incredible. And this is a system that has always relied heavily on a tight end, and Bill has always drafted tight ends. We had Daniel Graham, we had Ben Watson. He's taken guys in the first round. And the unique thing about Gronk is his ability to be a complete tight end, which is underrated. Typically now you get a guy who can block, or you get a guy that can catch. You don't get a guy that can do both of those things and do it as well as he does. He changes the way that coverages have to be played. It's a position of significance to the scheme, and I don't think they're going to be able to find an answer anywhere close to him anytime soon.
Coach, I know you love it when I talk about best of all time things.
Best of all.
No. So, well, let me ask you this.
I don't have my list.
No, I know you don't have your list.
Don't worry, he's got enough for everybody
all your
here.
years watching football, as far as a production per game, not lifelong career, but when he's on the field and healthy, and as far as overall ability, is Gronk near the best you've seen do it?
Yes, and for this reason, he also will sit in the backfield and block. They'll put him off the line of scrimmage, and he'll pass protect, and he'll do it willingly. He's a road grader in the running game, and he does that willingly. His ability to run after the catch is unique. His ability to adjust to the ball that's poorly thrown or outside his frame, to me, is unique. And his toughness. All those things combined, it's just hard to find that anywhere, and very rarely do you see it in the league.
Now, lots of people, casual fans, will look at it and say they won a Super Bowl without Gronk. You just detail how important he is. How good would they be without him, and could they even duplicate winning a Super Bowl without him if he's not there?
I do think that they have a unique ability to overcome losses, and they find different ways to generate that production. But the ability or the ease of winning games decreases dramatically when he's not there. So could they overcome it? Yeah, I don't bet against them overcoming any loss because of their approach, but the value that he brings in so many aspects is irreplaceable.
Coach, it's so rare that we hear of a guy walking away from the game when he's as productive as he is, when he's still in pretty good physical shape, when he's still such a value to a team. But we know his injury history, and we know he plays so hard, and he's definitely beat up. I just, knowing the Gronk that we seem to see, it doesn't seem like he would walk away because he's like, oh, it hurts, or like I'm in pain. Like, what reason would a guy like Rob Gronkowski have to walk away from the game, knowing how much this team needs him?
Gronk strikes me as a guy that could relate to Philly's comments about having fun. Yeah. I would imagine he would like to be in a place that's a little bit more fun than what New England may necessarily be. And he may be getting to the point where he feels like he has enough money, or he feels like the opportunity to earn the money that he's earning in football is there, whether it's in Hollywood or wrestling, without the potential long-term effects on his body. And we see guys like Ryan Shazier, and we see the effects of CTE, and we're learning more and more of the long-term effects of football. And I'm sure a lot of guys take a step back and say, okay, what do I want my future to look like?
Well, we don't think his skills have declined. No one here thinks over the last years or so we've seen him.
2011 was the best year he ever had. He had 1,300 yards and 17 touchdowns. That was one of the most productive years from any tight end ever. Last year, though, might be the second best year he ever had. There are 3 other years that are fighting for second place, and last year was one of them. Last year, he had almost 1,100 yards. He had 8 touchdowns. He was the best tight end in the NFL, at least in my eyes, over the course of the season. It wouldn't be unprecedented for a 28-year-old at that level of his powers to walk away, but he'd be close to it. Calvin Johnson walked away. He's a little bit older than Gronk was, but he was near the peak of his powers, maybe for some of the reasons you talked about. You do mention that Gronk has the ability to make money elsewhere. Very hard for him to make this type of money, though. I looked it up. There are only 10 wrestlers that made over $2 million last year. Gronk is scheduled to make...
Can you name any of them?
Of the 10 wrestlers that
Yeah,
made
just
over
name
$2
one of
million?
them.
Yeah, my
John
extensive,
Cena's near
my
the top of the list.
extensive wrestling knowledge. I'd like to save that for a different segment.
Okay, no
Gotcha,
problem.
gotcha.
Gronk's on the books for $9 million. Like, even if you could cobble together a few $1 million, which I'm sure he could, it would be a financial hit that he's taking. The thing is, though, and this is what I can't answer, I don't think anyone really at this desk can answer, you're the closest to, is what it feels like to play the way he does. Like, we know football's a brutal sport for everybody, but what you're describing about what a good blocker he is, the punishment he takes when he's not blocking, when he's catching the football, he plays, his style of play is particularly punishing on his body in a obviously wildly punishing sport, right? You would agree?
It's incredibly punishing, and as you get injuries, it's not like you come back and you respond exactly the same way. Your body has to adjust to those things, and you're taking that pounding on a consistent basis, and he's a willing blocker. He's willing to take those hits. He's willing to run after the catch, stay in bounds, all those things that you think of with old school football players. But it does take a toll. These guys are big, strong, fast, powerful, and after a certain amount of hits, it's hard to wake up on Monday.
Reggie Bush was on Colin Cowherd's show yesterday and said that there were Monday mornings where he literally could not stand up. He physically could not get out of bed. He was in that much pain. And this is a guy that's, I mean, he is taking, I mean, you see how beat up, I mean, the equipment that he has to wear just to get through a game. You can only imagine what he goes through.
And we all know as you get older, it gets harder, and he wants to be at a point, I'm sure, where he can play with his kids, that he can go and have an active lifestyle long into the future. And as guys make more and more money, they get to a point where it's, okay, when is enough enough?
Yeah.
When is it time to walk away?
Yeah.
Well, look, there have been those that have said that concussion, that last one he had, really, I know there are reports that he considered training camp retiring, but that last concussion, the way he responded to that, there have been those that have said that really put in his mind maybe stepping away too. Do you have any knowledge of if that was the case or not?
No, I don't think, I can't imagine it was just that event that forced him towards retirement or maybe forced him to reevaluate it. I'm sure it was something that he thought about in training camp. And typically when guys start thinking about retirement, they're a lot closer to it than you'd hope. And you go through a season as long as he just had, and it's hard. It's hard to gear up for that over and over again.
All right, Coach, stick around. Coming up, was Des Bryant's drop against the Packers actually a catch after all? Talk about that next. Stick around.
Des caught it, America.